This is the Our Voice 360 podcast, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. This podcast was created with you in mind. On Our Voice 360, we'll give you inspiration, sports, business and leadership tips, Black history, and entertainment. This is a show built from our perspectives. So if you're ready to be entertained, inspired, laugh a little, be informed, and enlightened, tune in now to Our Voice 360. Let's go! Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Our Voice 360. Our perspectives, our ways. I'm your man, Chad Bumgarner, 1/3 of the trio. I have with me my man, Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
And Mike is still out, but we still, carry Mike with us. He'll be back eventually. He's working on some things. But until then, hey, Pete, take it away, man.
And as always, our podcast is brought to you by Elect Graphics and Photography. Allow your visions to become reality. And CDB Consulting, great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And ladies and gentlemen, if you would also like to let us know what you think about the show, what you like, what you don't like, or maybe even what you want to hear, please do not hesitate to contact us at our email address at ourvoice360@gmail.com. That is ourvoice360@gmail.com. And one last mention before we get started, Pete. We are now on iTunes, folks. You can catch our podcast on iTunes. All right. Spotify, Podimo. I can't even say
Podomatic. Google Podcast.
We also have a Facebook channel, Our Voice 360, and YouTube. So we out here in these streets, y'all. Just check us out.
Right.
All right. So today, pretty good conversation. We're going to talk about the Derek Chauvin trial. We're going to talk about the Georgia voting law that just passed and all the hell that's coming with that. And we're going to touch on a major announcement in sports. Don't want to give too much away, but it is huge for us. And we're going to find out about it towards the end of the show. But for now, Pete, let's get into this Derek Chauvin trial, man. I was watching some over the past 2 days. Mm-hmm. Some really heart-wrenching testimonies, man. Really heart-wrenching testimonies.
Yeah.
The young lady, the EMT who was off duty at the time.
Yes, sir.
I started watching her testimony, and she was a bit upset, and I know the judge had to check her on arguing with the defense.
Yeah, the DA. Yeah,
arguing with the defense attorney.
Lawyer. Mm-hmm.
But I understand her frustration, and I can't remember the question he asked her, but she was like, and I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, "Yeah, but if you were witnessing a murder, you'd be pretty distraught or pissed off, upset too."
Yeah. Yeah, man. Chad, it's real simple. We don't need any other evidence than the video. But of course, since it's dealing with a white police officer and a black cop, we have to go through all of this extraneous stuff to prove that this black man was murdered, when we can actually just look at the tape, look at the videos, and see that this black man was murdered. But it's telling by the people that's on the stand, by the witnesses. You can tell how heart-wrenching and how troubled these people were by sitting there and watching this take place, and they could do absolutely nothing about it. They could do anything about it, because if you rush the police during this situation, guess what? You probably gonna get shot. And then it turns into a whole nother spectacle.
But it is a choice.
But it is a choice.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't see anything that the defense can bring that can change what happened. I can't see what
they don't have a leg. They don't have a leg to stand on, Pete, because whenever you go to what he was doing before it happened, like when he was in the store, that had no bearing.
Nothing.
When he was in the store, that had no, well, to a certain extent, because it elevated. Let's give it full transparency here. The whole situation elevated because the guy behind the counter assumed that the $20 bill was counterfeit.
Right.
Right. So when he took it to his boss escalated it by calling a police officer. What his boss could have did was said, look, man, we feel that it's counterfeit. Do you have any other form of currency? Right. Or, you know what? We're not going to take your business because we don't want to run the risk of it being counterfeit, because now we got to come out of pocket for that. Or there's several ways it could have been squashed.
Or like what I was hearing yesterday, the young man actually said that I will pay for it out of my pocket. I'll give you the $20. Hey, ain't no big deal. Ain't no big thing. You know what I'm saying? Look, but again, people that don't look like us, that's their go-to. Whether it's white, Asian, whatever, their thing is, if something pops off, we'll stick the police on you.
Right. There's no trying to conversate or just
there's no trying to
squash it all together.
Yeah, we're gonna stick the police on you. I mean, we can go back to the little black child selling water. Right. When all of this popped off. I mean, you know what I'm saying? All of this, Karen.
She could have had a conversation with the girl's mama.
Exactly.
Or could have just left it alone. It's
or just left her mind
trying
your
to make some money.
Or mind your business.
How about that?
It's all about people that don't look like us, people of other hues. That's their go-to. Okay, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to stick the police on you. I'm going to call the police, knowing full well that if the police show up and it's something that, if you're white and you're dealing with somebody black and the police show up, guess what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to knock the black person over the head. They're going to arrest the black person. They're going to shoot the black person. They're going to kill the black person.
Right.
In most cases. That's how it happens.
Yep.
So again, if we just look at the videos, at the videotapes, and if I'm the prosecution, it's on. I know I have to argue my point, whatever, as the prosecution, but excuse me, that video would be on the loop, as disturbing as it is. As disturbing as that video is, it would be on a continuous loop.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what I feel like put the nail in the coffin. For what put the nail in the coffin for the defense was when that 61-year-old man sat up there and watched that video of him talking to Floyd, just trying to tell Floyd, just get up, man. He said, you can't win. Get up. They got you handcuffed. You can't. Just get up. He said, I can't. My knee. And that grown man sat up there and cried like a baby because there was nothing he could do for Floyd. He tried to tell Floyd, but Floyd couldn't get up. When you got 3 grown men on your neck, on your upper back, your middle back, and close to your buttocks, ain't no grown man going to be able to get. When you got 4 grown men on you, 3 to 4 grown men on you.
And if you can't breathe, you're going to struggle. I can't breathe, dog. Look, help me, because I can't breathe.
Nah, Pete, he said, if you can talk, you can breathe. That's what the officer said when they played the tape. I heard. If you can talk, you can breathe. If that didn't get you, if the grown man crying on the stage on the stand did not get you, then when George Floyd laid there hollering, and then he said mama 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
This a grown man. He's 42, 43 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
And he on his stomach, can't breathe. And he hollering for his mama.
And his mama is no longer living.
Right.
So he's talking to his mama from a heavenly place, a spiritual place.
Yes, he saw her. But see, it all went wrong when they was putting him in the car, because if you watch the tape, to me, it looked like he was having a panic attack.
Of course.
When they was putting him in the car, he was like, he couldn't breathe then. He was having a panic attack. And not one time did the officers say, hey, he needs to get medical attention. The lady on the street, the white lady, the EMT that was off duty, kept asking them, you need to find a pulse. You need to check a pulse. Then she said, could she do it? And they refused her.
Because, Chad, we've discussed this before. When it comes to the police, black life means nothing to them. Black life means nothing to not only to the police, but a whole lot of people that don't look like us, but especially the police. The police, remember how the police were created. The police were created from slave patrol.
That's right.
Slave catchers. That's
right.
how. So you go from slave catcher, slave patrol to the police. So you have 400 plus years of feeling that black folk are not human. We're animals to the police, even black police. So we're not even gonna go, just strictly white police. Black police don't give a doggone about black bodies, to be quite honest. Because a lot of these cases that you see that black people are being killed by police officers, there's a black cop somewhere near. So again, a black life don't mean nothing to the police. And guess what? On top of that, Chad, they know they can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's countless times. Well, we look at every single time a police officer kills a black man, woman, or child. That's been in the news. Every one of them has gotten off. I'm gonna take it a step further, Chad. Just to give you a side note of how much the police, when it's dealing with black folk, how the police will get off every single time. This past Monday, a black undercover officer was beaten until almost to an inch of his life. White cops in St. Louis during the protest, they beat a black man almost to death, where he had to be hospitalized, multiple surgeries, yada, yada, yada. Come to find out, he was an undercover cop. Guess what? They were found not guilty. So if the police can beat their own and get found not guilty,
what you think they can do to you?
We don't have a chance, brother. They got found not guilty of beating another cop and was found not guilty. And you can't find Blue Lives Matter nowhere. You can't find, So again, even when black folk or the police are on their team, black life don't mean nothing. So again, it's hard pressed for me, and I know I'm not a juror or in those jurors' heads, but it's a wrap for me. I mean, the tape alone, the video alone, but then to hear these compelling witnesses.
Bro, did you hear the 16-year-old when she said she still wakes up a year later and apologizes to Floyd because she wished she could have did something?
Yeah.
Or she wished she would have done something.
Yeah.
That baby's gonna have issues for a minute.
Yeah. And I mean, people don't understand, people that don't look like us, people of other races don't understand the plight of the black man, woman, and child. I'm trying to tell you, they don't understand, because we have to give our kids the talk. As black men, Chad, growing up, we had the talk when facing police.
Sure did.
Your father and mother talk to you about, if you run into the police, this is what you do. My mother and father had to talk with me when I got to the age where I was going out and this, that, and the third. This is what you do with the police. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because guess what? You may not come home.
Right.
You make the wrong, you flinch. You may not come home.
And you know what? I've had a conversation with a buddy of mine. I won't name his name because he may not want me to say it. But we had this conversation, and we had to agree to disagree, because my thing was, what I teach mine is comply with what the officer is asking you to do, because at the end of the day, I want you home.
Right.
We can fight. We can live to fight this battle another day. We can go get lawyers. We can go to the press, all that. But at least you are alive.
Right.
And then I had my counterpart, the one who I was talking with, was like, Chad, when we run, we get killed. Chad, when we comply, when we get killed. I'm not giving them cops anything. I said, well, we can agree to disagree. And I understand your side.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember the old gentleman in South Carolina, he was running and got shot in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand. And I've seen black folks comply and still wind up dead.
Mm-hmm.
My man, I can't remember where he was at, but he was in the car, got shot in the back. Was that Philandro?
Philando Castile. Yeah,
Castile, excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah, Philando
He complied.
Castile.
He let him know he had a weapon in the car. He gave that man all the information, and the cop just freaked on him. So I get that. But my thing is, I just, at the end of the day, I want my loved ones home.
Mm-hmm.
Win, lose, or draw, we can always come back another day and fight this situation should we need to. But I just want you alive. Some people call it shucking a job. You can call it what you want. I just want you alive. I just want you to come home alive. Now, Pete, I'm 48 years old, and it was on. I don't know. Maybe it was. I got off on a warning, but it was like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I was going to pick one of my daughters up from after school, and I guess he got me not coming to a stop at a stop sign. I kind of just slowed down and went. But I pulled over. I turned the car off, put it in park, reached and got my ID, grabbed my registration, turned the car off because I'm trying to show him I'm not a threat. Roll the window down. I've got my license and registration in one hand, keys in the other, hands are crossed, hanging outside the window, waiting on him to come to the door. Now, telling my buddy about that, he was like, man, you did too much. You had to do all of it. I said, I am a father.
That's it.
I am a husband.
That's it.
I am one of the two that are the breadwinners, me and my wife, of this family.
That's right. That's right.
If I can help it in any way not to have my family go through the slow singing and flower
bringing, exactly,
then that's what I'm going to do. I just so happened to roll up on a cop that was like, hey, did you know blah, blah, blah? I said, no, sir, my apologies. Right? Where you headed? I'm going to get my daughter. He went to his car. He took my information, came back. He said, I'm going to give you a warning. Be careful. Appreciate you, officer. Put my stuff in, said a quick prayer to the Lord, and rolled off. Everybody's not that fortunate.
Exactly.
Everybody's not that fortunate. But but you should not feel like, why am I having this anxiety? Why is my blood pressure going? Why do I feel like this is it? Why is my life flashing before my eyes? Just because a cop has pulled you over and wants to talk to you about what he feels was an infraction of driving or not. You should not have to feel that. You should be very comfortable and relaxed. It should be like having a conversation with another human being and not even the thought of a threat being the furthest from your mind. But every time we as black folks have to pull over, it is like being in a war zone, not knowing when you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not knowing if you're going to make it back to the base. You should not feel that way.
It's because we feel that way because not only have we been treated that way, because this is generational. We have dealt with this since we've touched our toes, our people's toes touch this continent.
And it doesn't matter if you know the law or not. If you black, you can know the law.
Yeah,
it depends on what kind of cop you get on what particular day, how they feeling.
Yep,
that's really what it boils down to.
And again, like I said earlier, police, slave patrol, slave catchers, police, it's all in one. They are, and I hate to say trained, but trained to treat us differently. It's that simple. We are treated as a threat to them. I don't care what it is. It can be jaywalking. Just in Asheville a few months ago, black man get shot in Asheville, North Carolina, because the police said he was jaywalking. They said he was jaywalking, but come to find out he wasn't. But the guy was like, man, I just got off a 12-hour shift. I'm on my way home, man. Leave me alone. I'm walking. Wasn't a threat, but he ends up getting shot because he wanted to go home. I just got off work, dog. Look, man, stop. I'm not doing nothing wrong. And see, that has been happening forever with black people as far as when it comes to the police. It's about, I mean, we can go back and, you know, look at situations where, I mean, even in movies where the police roll up on somebody black and just start something just to start something.
Mm-hmm.
It happens like that in real life also. I can tell you a similar story like you, Chad. I was in my 20s at the time making some good money. Had a big body Benz. I'm driving a big body Benz, and at that time I was leaving. At that time, a former girlfriend's house. I worked third shift. I was on my way to work and got pulled over by the police. I was going the speed limit. This, that, and the third. I mean, you know, they pulled me over, said I fit the description of somebody that robbed whatever, this, that, and the third, and somebody that would have contraband on me. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? Sir, step out of the car. I can't do it. Can we search your car? I can't do it. Look, I know the law. Nah, you can't. I mean, and then all these squad cars roll up, this, that, and the third, and I'm like, scared to death, but you know, I got to keep calm.
Mm-hmm.
I give them my license, my registration. And you know, we talked about several podcasts ago about your last name, right? You remember that, right? When we talked about the last name. Police officer looked at my license, went back to the car, saw my license, had my license registration. He saw my last name. He knew what it was. He knew what it was. And come back to the car. Sorry, Mr. Hunt. We apologize. This, that, and the third. Yada yada yada. You know, you have a good day, or good night, or good evening, whatever. And I was like, why you stop me to begin with? Because they saw a black man
in a Mercedes,
in a pearl white big body Mercedes.
Woo, a pearl white
big body Mercedes. That's what they saw. So mentally, there's no way. He has to be slanging dope. He has to be this, that, and the third. No, I work hard every day. I work hard every day. So again, as black folk, that tension with the police is always going to be there because it started generations ago from slave catchers and the slave
it was
patrol.
Designed to make us feel that way from the jump, and the system has not changed.
And for the foreseeable future, it's not going to change because again, somehow the police get off when it's black bodies on the line, and when it's black bodies that gets killed. And Chad, I'm gonna be quite honest with you, and I hope this doesn't happen because I hope Derek Chauvin gets convicted of everything that he's charged.
I know where you going with this.
but if he doesn't, the explosion that's gonna happen, not just not.
You thought the LA riots was bad. If this dude gets off, man.
Chad. Man, I'm telling you.
If this dude gets off, it is not gonna be pretty.
It's not gonna be, and it's not gonna be pretty across the country.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This is not gonna be just like Rodney King, and you know they burned down LA, this, that, and the third. Yada. No. It's gonna be a lot bigger than that. See, because back when what was it, 92 with Rodney King?
91, 92, yes.
91, 92 with Rodney King. There was no Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, yada yada yada. There was no big movements. There was no marching. People marched a whole summer across the world. For George Floyd.
Yes, sir. They sure did.
Get this wrong if you want to. I'm just saying. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. And with the jury, all it takes is one.
Yeah.
All it takes is one to be like, nah, he ain't do that. He ain't try to kill him. All it takes is one. If you have, in these first 3 days, if you haven't seen as a juror, if you haven't seen what this really is, can you really sleep at night, go home? If you say he's not guilty, can you go home and sleep at night knowing that this man murdered George Floyd? was on his neck, and the more people yelled, the more pressure he applied to his neck. The more they yelled, he put his hands in his pockets like, what y'all gonna do? The arrogance he had while he was sitting on that man's neck.
All that pressure,
Like,
whole body pressure.
Whole body pressure. Like, yeah, I'm the police. What you gonna do? I'm superior to this black man. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna show all of you. I'm gonna set an example. What Derek Chauvin done as the police was what a lot of police officers do to intimidate black people.
Not only that, but it's what Massa did.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
the strongest, blackest male.
Yeah.
To the rest of them.
They call
if I do some kind of humiliating act to this person, that shows the rest of y'all what can happen to y'all. Because if I got your biggest and baddest under my foot, imagine what can happen to y'all.
Yeah. They call it buck breaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call it. They call it buck breaking. We gonna break the biggest buck on the plantation. And it's similar to Derek Chauvin.
Mm-hmm.
Place him as the slave owner.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his biggest buck on the plantation. That's what George Floyd was. This man, what, 6'3", 6'4"?
Mm-hmm.
Well over 200 pounds. Guess what I'm gonna show you with all you black people that's standing around hollering and screaming? Guess what I'm here to show you? This can happen to you, just like you said. This can happen to you. Fool with me if you want to. This guy, my knee can be on your neck next. Don't get it twisted. That's all that was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a show of superiority. Me being the white officer, I'm gonna put this black man down. That's what I'm gonna do.
Officer.
Yes, sir. Yep.
He said it years ago.
KRS-One said it. Officers to overseer. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And I just hope, I don't know how long this trial is going to be, but I feel it's going to be a long trial, because once the defense gets their turn, this is what we're going to see, Chad. We're going to see him be humiliated. They're going to go back into how bad of a man he was. They're going to talk about he had alcohol or drugs in his system. Mm-hmm. They're going to do everything to demean him. Not say that Derek Chauvin didn't do anything wrong, or that he did everything right. They're going to try to demean
the victim
and vilify the victim. That's all they have.
But see,
that's all they can do.
And you're right. That's all they have. But the prosecutor, when they go to closing, to me, the prosecutor ain't got to say one word. All the prosecutor got to do is click play. That's for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Just click play. I'm not even gonna say anything to you, jury. I just want you to believe what your eyes have shown you. This video has been authenticated. It is real, and I'm not even gonna give my closing arguments. Can you hit the tape? That's it. That's all I would do. Mm-hmm. And I will make sure they hear that grown man calling for his dead mama.
Yep. Or look, I would go. I'm gonna be honest. I would go to Matthew McConaughey in A Time to Kill.
Woo! That was a good scene.
Now close your eyes.
Close your eyes. That's right.
Now imagine if George Floyd was white.
Or imagine if George Floyd was your daddy.
Yep.
Your brother. Your grandfather.
Your uncle.
Your husband.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. I mean,
I rest.
That's it. That's it. But yeah, it's the in these first 3 days, it has really been gut wrenching watching these people on the stand just pour their hearts out and feel bad, because not only did they watch somebody be murdered, but there was absolutely nothing they could do about it. Mm-hmm. And even just like in the case of the EMT, when they even tried to intervene and say, look, I have credentials to, hey, check this. They still, that further lets you know they wanted to kill that man.
Even when that man was leaking fluids and the EMT, off-duty EMT saw, she said it appeared to be urine. Still wouldn't let him touch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's whew, yeah, this is, all I'm saying is, jury, please come to the right decision. Just please come to the right decision.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, Pete, let's go on. We could do a whole show on that, but let's move on to the voting rights bill that was passed in Georgia down here in my neck of the woods. It has been catching a lot of backlash, a lot of fury. You have a lot of black organizations. As a matter of fact, there were a bunch of black CEOs that have gotten together and signed a document calling out, you know, the big players, the big corporations down here to speak against this voters' rights bill. The All-Star game for the National Baseball League, I'm not mistaken, is considering pulling out of it.
MLB, yeah.
MLB is considering pulling out of Georgia because of this. I know the CEO of Coke just spoke out recently saying that it was I can't remember what he said word for word, but basically he was saying it was intolerable. You know, it just was not cool at all. But he's the only one that I've heard of as far, because, you know, we've got Home Depot down here. We have Coca-Cola, Delta. There's a lot of them. And the only one we've heard from so far has been Coca-Cola, the CEO, and his statement was yesterday. So in that bill, there are a few things listed. The main thing that we hear a lot about down here is the fact that you can't be served water or food while you're standing in line to vote. I don't understand how that's voter integrity, but that's one of the things. The other one is reducing the amount of drop boxes. You know, I don't understand how that's voter integrity, how you're reducing the amount of drop boxes that people get access to drop off their votes, the mail-in votes. And then the other thing is absentee voting. You have to have a legal form of ID with your absentee. So like we were talking off air, I think you have to like do a photocopy or scan of your license or passport or whatever and turn it in with your absentee vote. Another thing that was in that bill I found that was weird had nothing to do with voting. It was geared towards the restaurants and COVID. So basically, Pete, they're saying now, you know how when you leave a restaurant, they say, do you want your Coke or Sprite to go, and they give you to-go cup? Now they're doing to-go cocktails, to-go liquor, up to 2. 2 is the limit. So now you're promoting drinking and driving? Because my thing is, if I got me a Long Island to go, and I'm headed to the house or maybe to a friend's house or whatever, you think I'm just gonna let it sit there until I get to where I'm going? I'm not gonna sip on. Come on, that's human nature in all of us. No matter what kind of drink we have, if it's in the car, we're gonna take a sip or two of it while we're driving. That's just what it is. So,
Georgia,
like I said, the governor's catching a lot of backlash. I think Delta has spoken out recently because he has dismissed their, not necessarily claim, but comments or whatever. But it's all a ploy for Republicans to take over. Oh, there's another thing too. The Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. Yeah.
Raffensperger.
His duties will be relinquished from him if the state has to come in and overtake one of the polling sites for whatever reason. If they feel like there's a lack of integrity at one of the polling sites, the Secretary of State or the State Department can come in and take over that polling site and take away Brad's power and duties.
And for me, Chad, that's the biggest thing. Everybody's talking about the the water and the food or whatever. No, that's surface. That's surface level stuff. I don't care nothing about that, because I can bring my own water. What you just said is the biggest thing.
It is
where they can come in and basically say, you know, this vote is not legal, but this vote is. This vote is not legal, but this vote is. So basically, they've put in this law that we can come to any precinct if we feel
right
that it's not right. So basically, we can come to Atlanta. What's Fulton County?
You know, that's where I was going. That's the biggest county.
Yeah, so we can go to Fulton County, which is heavily Democrat, right, Chad? You down there?
And African American.
Yeah, heavily Democratic, heavily African American. So you know the first place they going, right?
That was the only place they was targeted. This whole bill was to target them because that's how Biden won. That's how Biden came back election night and won, because Fulton was the biggest county. It was taking forever to count them.
Yeah.
Once they got to, I think they started with the mail-in. No, they started with the local votes first, and then they started counting the mail-in ballots. Then all of a sudden, Biden was taking off.
Mm-hmm.
Biden was taking off in the lead, and your boy, the previous president, was getting mad at him. How is it that I'm in the lead, and then all of a sudden, bruh, because we have regular votes or local votes, then you have the mail-in, then you have the absentee. Well, the mail-in is absentee, excuse me.
Yeah.
You have the absentee votes. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it happened. It was legal.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, this is based around Fulton County.
Yeah.
Everything in this bill is based around keeping black people from voting. Guess what?
Yep.
You know where they're going to take the ballot, the drop boxes from? Fulton County.
Fulton County.
You know where the reason why you not be able to give somebody water and food? Guess what? Because of Fulton County. The county they're going to go in first when they feel that integrity, that there's no integrity in the vote. Fulton County.
And I think they have removed early voting and weekend voting, and the polls are going to close at 5 or 5:30.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us people of black folks, a lot of us work in service jobs.
Yep.
And we don't have the ability a lot of times to get off and stand in line and go vote. They know this.
Mm-hmm.
They know that a lot of the white folks are in upper level management positions or positions of flexibility. Well, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take a vacation day, or I'm gonna take a half day. I'm going down here and vote. A lot of people that work in service lines don't have that ability. They know this.
Mm-hmm.
They've done their research.
Oh yeah.
They know this.
Oh yeah.
They know this. Yeah. And they know that souls to the polls for black folks was really, really big. It's been big for years.
Now we y'all gonna cut
now you get rid of weekend voting, Saturday and Sunday voting.
Mm-hmm.
That eliminates that.
Yep.
That eliminates that.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, this is what Republicans do. They because they have no ideas to garner the black vote. You have no ideas to garner the black vote. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to stop you from voting. Are you kidding me? Instead of coming up with something that would be appealing to the black voter, they would rather stop us from voting than to make our lives better. Let that sink in. We would rather stop you from voting than putting out ideas to make your lives better.
See, the thing is, the bigger picture is, and they're so greedy that they can't see the forest despite the trees. Because my thing is, if you help make our lives better, that impacts the economy. Does that make sense? That impacts the economy in a good way, which is only going to help most of the Republicans, because y'all own most of the companies that are heavily invested in a lot of the companies that we purchase or work for.
Hold on, Chad, let me stop. Let me put a pin in that right there, what you're talking about. It don't matter about the economy, because what you just said, if I own the company, I already got the money. So this is about power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is about white folk and white Republicans wanting to keep power, because you black folk voted in a super high number, and you flipped the state of Georgia.
Sure did.
You flipped it. Black folks flipped the state of Georgia. Don't get it twisted.
Joe told you. He said, I owe you.
Black folks flipped the state of Georgia. So guess what? We're going to do everything in our power to keep you from voting. This is Jim Crow. This is Jim Crow 2.0. This is exactly what this is. And let's get back to these major companies in Georgia. Guess what? Your press conference or your press release means nothing to me now. Guess what? Guess why? Mm-hmm. The bill's already been passed.
Mm-hmm.
What are you coming out saying something? No, you should have said something before, because it's not like you just heard about this after the bill was passed.
Right.
You already knew this was in the pipeline. So you didn't say nothing because you're supporters of Republicans. and you're a supporter of the leadership in Georgia. So you wasn't going to say anything before the law was passed, but I'm gonna say something afterwards. That's idiotic to me. That's null and void. That's nothing to me.
Well, not only that, Pete, you know you're wrong when you sign the bill behind closed doors with a few of your like-minded buddies, with a picture of a plantation in the background as you sign it. And then the sister, the representative who's knocking on the door, who should have the right to be there to watch the signing at least. I mean, I know there's nothing she can do, but at least I can look you in your eyes and say, are you really going to sign this piece of legislation? Which he did in private. She only knocked on the door and she got arrested. And the cop said he feared that if he didn't control her, that another insurrection, another January 6th was about to happen. When there was only a handful of people there outside the door.
That ain't. Let me clarify something for people. If you're on looking at our show on YouTube, let me look you directly in your eyeballs. We don't do that. That ain't what we do.
That's right.
Because we know we just had a conversation about Mr. Floyd and what happened to him. So if we do a January 6th insurrection, it's not going to be an insurrection because everybody be dead. It'd be blood in the street. It's going to be
a mass murderer.
Exactly. It'd be blood running in the street. So and it's funny how we knock on doors and get arrested. They kick down doors and don't. Okay. That's another story for another day. But anyway, back to Georgia. It's what's going to have to happen, which is happening now, is there has to be lawsuits filed against this, and it has to be taken to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
And which it's the Supreme Court's fault to begin with, why we have this situation by stripping the voting rights bill to begin with. It's the Supreme Court's fault anyway.
But isn't this a similar situation with North Carolina a couple of years ago when the Republicans tried to do the redistricting and cut down the voting days, the Saturday and Sunday and the time, and went to the Supreme Court and they was like, y'all really think we stupid? This is discrimination. No, we're not going to approve this. No.
Yeah. So again, like I said, three different lawsuits have come against Georgia about this, which is great. And I hope this is overturned. And this is going to have to go to the federal court for sure. And I hope this is overturned because if they let this by with Georgia, it's already 10, 11 states already on the go that already has their similar type bills, similar to Georgia, that they're going to pass.
That's true. That's true.
So hopefully,
Pete, Go ahead. Finish your statement. I'm sorry.
So hopefully, this gets rectified with these lawsuits.
Switching gears yet again. I'm anxious about this, man. I need you real quick to because we got to wrap up. I want you to drop the bombshell on our viewers about what's going on and why this is so important for the culture.
Coming from the sports perspective, right now, we have something that's never happened before. We have 2 Black women that will be coaching the Final Four this year in women's college basketball.
Yes, sir.
Dawn Staley from South Carolina, which everybody knows Dawn Staley, and I can't pronounce Addie. I think that's her name. Barnes, the head coach of the University of Arizona. They will be the first Black women to coach in the Final Four together, which is a phenomenal feat. Which is phenomenal but sad in the same light. You see what I'm saying? Because this should not be the first time 2 Black coaches has faced off in the women's Final Four.
Right.
That's sad actually, because of the percentage of Black women that play basketball at the Division I level. But I'm super proud of these sisters that they have, reached this level. Which, Dawn Staley has been there. This will be Dawn Staley's 3rd time taking South Carolina in the past
Right.
6 years, taking them to the Final Four. This is Miss Barnes, her first time as the coach of Arizona, leading them to the Final Four. South Carolina will play Stanford in one semifinal game, and Arizona will play UConn in the other semifinal game. Proud of these two sisters. They have two tough games though, because Stanford and UConn are no joke.
Right.
So, can you imagine if these two sisters make it to the finals? Woo wee! You talk about something big for the culture.
That's huge.
So
That's
something
huge.
big. And we have in the line of. I would love to see if they do make it to the finals. I would love to be a fly on the wall at C. Vivian Stringer's house, who is to me probably the greatest women's coach. I know they have Pat Summitt and people, but C. Vivian Stringer is just, man, she is just a coach that's just, she may not have the titles and this, that, but just as far as a coach who just touches these young women in these sisters in a great light, man, I tell you, she is at the top of the mountain for me, as far as that's concerned. But I applaud these sisters for the hard work that they've done, especially Sister Barnes, who, like I said, taking this Arizona team to the Final Four, and Dawn Staley's been there and done that. We know how great of a coach, not only coach, how great of a player she was. Which is Sister Barnes. She played in the WNBA also, so they were both high level D1 players that made it to the WNBA. So these sisters, they have the pedigree.
They do
to be in this spot. So, and I hope one of them reaches that pinnacle, as Dawn Staley already has, and Carolyn Peck, who took Purdue to the title several years ago, can etch their names again into that Mount Rushmore of black coaches, black women black coaches and black women coaches who has held up that NCAA trophy high above their heads as being a champion. So I applaud these sisters, and we are rooting for you. We are definitely rooting for
both of you. Indeed.
Yes,
indeed.
And also we want to touch on something that happened actually several weeks ago, but we haven't had a show, but we want to shout out Renee Montgomery.
Yes.
Co-owner of the Atlanta Dream.
Atlanta Dream, that's right.
Yeah. So we applaud that sister also for the things that she's done. Taking the year off from the WNBA to go into a political atmosphere.
That's right.
To help people in that situation, and not only doing that, being that successful in that, but also being a part owner of the new
having
Atlanta
the ability
Dream.
to be a part owner of a professional basketball team. That's awesome.
Being part of, we're gonna call it the new Atlanta Dream. That's what we're gonna call it, the new Atlanta Dream.
And it's so funny because the person that formerly owned it, Miss Montgomery was butting heads with her because she felt like Black Lives Matter was not a reputable organization. And I don't understand how she would feel that way when over 70% of the league was African American,
right,
and was supporting Black Lives Matter. It seemed like you would have taken the chance to get more understanding. But see, this is what happens when you become that arrogant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is what happens when you become that arrogant. You put yourself in a situation that you can't turn around in. And on the fortunate side, it just wound up being a huge blessing for Miss Montgomery. So huge shouts out to her for taking time off, because she also stated that when she left, that she didn't know where her next check was coming from. So it's just a testament to how God works.
Faith.
You know what I'm saying? How God works. So we definitely want to shout her out. So Brother Pete, anything else, man, before we give the scripture or the quote for the day?
Oh, one last thing, and this is really big on the college side, the men's side. Roy Williams retired from the University of North Carolina. Upon hearing this, we found out right before we come on air that Roy Williams, legendary coach of the University of North Carolina, has retired. So that is also a huge story in the world of college athletics, because Roy is a, whatever you think about him. He is a legend. There's no doubt about that. So again, before we leave, again, we want to shout out these sisters for the work that they've done and that they're going to continue to do. And also, before we go into our final, we want to give the book of the week. Yes, the book of the week this week is "The Devil You Know" by Charles Blow. The author is Charles Blow, and the name of the book is "The Devil You Know." I just finished reading. It just came out probably a month ago, and I've already finished reading it. It is a fantastic book about the migration of Black people from the South to the North, and the dealings that they had to do in the South and the North, and how the South, the Black South, can come back if people migrate back to the South. It's a phenomenal book by Mr. Blow, and he's done his due diligence and research, and you can tell in the reading of this book. It's a fantastic read. It's a very quick read. It's 185 pages, so it's a very quick read. So it's not too long. It's not gonna bog you down. It's not gonna take you 2, 3, 4 weeks to read it or whatever. Very quick read, very good read. Again, that's "The Devil You Know," and the author is Charles Blow.
And we'll put that in the information for the YouTube and all the other outlets so that you guys will remember. So, yeah. But that is it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to end the show with the Bible quote or verse from the day, and it's coming from Philippians chapter 2, verses 7 and 8, and it reads.
Philippians, maybe.
What I say, Pete?
You said Philippines.
Oh my God! Thank you. Philippians, yes sir. Well, my mom will kill me. You know how during Vacation Bible School you had to learn all the books of the Bible.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Yeah, buddy. You might have took a fan to the forehead for that one.
Yeah. Philippines. Wow. Philippians, folks. Philippians, chapter 2, verse 7 and 8. My gosh. And it reads, "Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on the cross." This is just our way. This is just the Bible's account of showing us how the Lord came into this world and humanized himself and humbled himself to show us how to walk and talk and live, and died a criminal's death. He did this for us so that we could have eternal life, that we could have direct access to him and not have to go through a rabbi or a priest. We can go directly to him. We don't need a rabbi or a priest, but I digress on that. But my thing is this: if our Lord and Savior can come and be humble and serve the people, then we should be able to be humble and serve one another in patience and in love as well. So with that being said, my brother, anything else?
Oh man, everybody have a great weekend. That's all I can say. Have a great weekend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting us.
Indeed. All right. Well, that's it for us, folks. Take care. Be blessed. And we are out.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when a new show drops. Please rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to advertise or become a sponsor, please send an email to ourvoice360@gmail.com with your inquiry. We'll connect with you as soon as possible in hopes of creating a great partnership. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Our Voice 360. Our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. See you next week.